Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, today on the bench, I have this really cool brushless helicopter from RTR Hobby. This is a WL-K170. Now, WL means that it's WL Toys, which we know is a good brand that makes really good helicopters. Now, the box actually says Wolfbush, but again, this is actually a WL Toys, so it could have been rebranded, I guess you could say. But not a whole lot on the box here. Pretty generic. It actually says Wolf Brush or something with a little different spelling here on the bottom. But let's go ahead and open it up here so you guys can actually see this helicopter. Now, this will be the very first brushless helicopter that I've ever had. I really like helicopters. They are a lot of fun, but I never actually had a brushless one. So we can see here, it says it is a K170. And you get a mouse pad style helipad here. It's definitely a mouse pad. You can absolutely use it as a mouse pad on your computer. But being, it's a smaller helicopter, you can also use this as a little helipad. So it's kind of either or, but I think it's more meant to be a helipad. Here is the helicopter. Now the main rotor on this is brushless. The rear little rotor is a brush motor, but this thing ought to have pretty good power. So here is the heli. As you can see, I've not even done much with it. It's still got the little tag on here telling you how you remove this front nose cone here to actually remove the LiPo battery. You can see the K170 branding here. And what this is meant to look like, this is meant to look like a Black Hawk helicopter from the United States Army. So the K170 by WL Toys, Black Hawk brushless helicopter. So you kind of squeeze this and pull it out, and the LiPo battery goes right in here, and you have a micro LoSi connector there for your actual battery connector. But here is the LiPo. I already had taken that out of the helicopter just to take a look at it. And again, this is just a 1S 3.8 volt, it says actually on there. 800 milliamp hour battery. So this is a little 1S LiPo for this little heli. And you get a stand as well, and that's pretty cool. So what you'll do with this is you'll put it on here like this, or it may go like this, however you want to do it. And it snaps in there, and then the heli will actually mount to that. So it'd be pretty easy to do that. I'm not going to snap it together at the moment, but the helicopter will mount here on the bottom like this. Something like that. Let me get it back into the field of view. And you'll be able to display this helicopter on your shelf, which is pretty darn cool. Maybe if I can get this together, I'll briefly show you guys what it looks like on the actual display stand before we take it outside and fly it. So it comes with this the micro LoSi USB charger. It's gonna have a little light, probably. I think it was a green light that went out, or maybe it was red and turned green. I can't quite remember. But I do already have the battery charged. Then you get some spare propellers, one of your large gear in there in case that would strip. You get the rear rotor and a Phillips screwdriver and a little Allen wrench in here as well. And then let's take a look at the full-size controller. So this is pretty nice. You got your full controls here, which is pretty cool. We got some buttons. It looks like a speed rate here, probably auto takeoff and landing. We'll have to look at the instruction manual to see if those other buttons do anything. So let's just really quickly open it up here, and here is our controls. So it is one key takeoff and landing, speed, and these bumpers here, I don't see anything labeled for those. So again, pretty straightforward on this in terms of controls, and just your some of your fine tuning here and stuff like that on the controller. But yeah, just real straightforward on the controller itself. Pretty much what you'd want to see. But these bumpers right here don't do anything. It just looks like these two are the only ones that does anything for this little heli. So let me go ahead and put the display scan together and let you guys see that. Then we'll get outside. Let's fly this brushless helicopter, so I'll be right back. Okay, here is the helicopter mounted on the display stand. It looks really fantastic. This is going to be a really nice way to display your helicopter on your shelf. I'm going to put it on my RC shelf here next to all my other RC stuff when I'm finished reviewing this. Now, one thing I wanted to mention as well, this is fly barless, so all these rotors that are props up here, they tilt and they move. So the gears and through the motor. So the servos in here will control that and allows it to pitch and tilt and all the stuff helicopters do. It's going to be very agile, and this will be a very fun flight. We'll need quite a large area of space to fly this helicopter. This would not be something you'd be able to usually be able to fly indoors, so I wouldn't recommend flying this inside your house. So let's get this helicopter outside now and see how it flies. So I'll be right back. Okay, let's take the WL-K170 Blackhawk up for a test flight here. I think this is going to be a lot of fun being that this is brushless. Now, something I didn't mention in the table view, of course you have a red and a green LED lights on the top, which looks pretty cool on this little heli. Now there's a bit of breeze today, but being brushless, I think it's going to be able to handle it, though we'll probably have to fly in the higher rates. Let's just put it down here on the ground, on the table, the picnic table. And to do a gyro calibration, it's both sticks down and to the right. You can see the lights flash, and we should be gyro calibrated. To do a takeoff, you have to do both sticks down and out to unlock the props, and then we can do the auto takeoff button up to the right here. So here we go. Now we do auto takeoff. And it'll take off here in a second. There we go. I think I clicked it too soon. The helicopter does, I noticed just test flying it yesterday, has a bit of a tilt to it to the right. Let's give it some left trim here and see if that levels it out. I was just test flying it in my house a little bit. Try to trim it up a little bit. But it's a little bit too big to try to fly indoors. Now this is the lowest rate, I believe. Boy, that's a lot. That's a quick yaw though. This thing is awesome. Let's listen to the beeps here and make sure it's not. That's the second rate now. This thing moves. No problem. It cuts right through the wind like a hot butter through knife. Hot knife through butter, I should say. Said it backwards. Hot knife through butter. And let's go up. There's a third rate as well. Boy, you can see the pitch there. So I think the yaw is really quick no matter what. Let's go to the first rate. Look at that yaw, it's really super quick, which I'm fine with that, but if you're a beginner, that yaw may be too quick for you, but even in the lowest rate, it's still going through this wind. So really what you're increasing is the pitch. Let's go into the second rate. Then watch the third rate. You can see, well, look at that, it almost nosedives. There we go. Honestly, as fast as this thing is, I'm gonna go to the second rate. I feel like the third rate's a little too quick for me. I'm afraid I might end up getting it too far away from me too quickly, and doing that, end up losing it or landing it in a lake or something, because you don't really have a good orientation. You just basically look at the shape of the helicopter. Those lights, you know, might help a little if it's kind of dark, but there's not a light in the nose cone, so that'd be what you'd want the most. Yeah, this thing's a great little heli though. Super, look how agile that is. That's what you want, like a real helicopter. I'm thinking whip on its yaw axis, no problem, but you're gonna want to keep it close. I mean, that's about as far as I want to go, because you know you don't have an FPV camera or something to look at to regain your orientation. But look how stable it is. I mean, the wind's let up now and it's just gradually drifting forward. Really nice little helicopter. Not surprising. WL Toys makes a lot of really good, just RC in general, budget RC stuff. And they make these good brushless helis. Let's try an auto landing just for the fun of it. See if we can land it over the table here. Yeah. Boy, it is quick. It is not a gradual landing like a real helicopter. But it looks great. This is really nice, you know, helicopter. Let's go ahead and just take it up and fly it a little longer. Let's go ahead and do the unlocking of props. And I think if I just give it throttle, we can do a manual takeoff. Yeah. You can see it still does tilt to the right a bit. But I've calibrated the gyros, so it just may need a little bit more trimming. You think it'd be on the roll axis here, so at least I'm using the drone terminology here. Did that level it out some? Eh. What you can also do is you end up, you know, trimming it for the wind. And then the next time you fly it, it's gonna be all out of whack. If you're trying to get the whole position in the wind, it might be a little bit better. I'm not too bothered by it. It flies great. It just looks like it tilts a little bit. And you would think that typically would be a sign of the gyroscope needing calibrated, but we've already done that. I've done that a couple of times at home as well, so it's not a gyroscope related. But yeah, this is great. So RTR Hobby sent this out to me. You can pick this up on their website. It's around 90 to 100, I think, somewhere in that $90 US dollar range. Not a bad price for a brushless helicopter that's this agile. You can see I whip it through here, man. No crashes though yet. That's a good sign. I've not flown a lot of helicopters, but if you can fly a toy drone, you can usually fly a helicopter. It's similar controls. But you do need a lot of space. I can hover it in my basement, but that's about it. I mean, you can't fly this around your house. It's too big, too fast, too powerful. My friend Dave over at Perth West Oz RC down in Australia, down in Perth, he reviewed this a while back, and he just reminded me you need a lot of space. Make sure you, and he's definitely right. You cannot fly this in a small confined area. So I wanted to come out here because I felt my yard, even my yard was really not big enough. In my far backyard is too muddy right now to walk around in still, to fly it back there. And it's nice to come to the park and get away from my house. You can hear those motors and servos working. Again, there's no fly bar on this. All the rotors are angling themselves to do all the different maneuvers, like a real helicopter would work. Very, very cool. Very, very nice helicopter. I just want to kind of bring it up. I was trying to hover it up here close to the camera so you guys could see it with my head cam. But obviously I don't want those props flying into me. I do have sunglasses on, but they're not safety glasses. But yeah, well, there it came at me. So yeah, you gotta be careful. These brushless motors, you could absolutely get cut up from the rotors hitting you with a brushless motor. It's not like a brushed motor. Which a brush motor can still hurt you, but not like a brushless, man. They just have such power and such speed that they can slice you, absolutely. Now, it's having a little struggle with the wind there, but remember, I'm only in the second rate, so. If I went into third rate, I'm sure I could go, but I don't want to get this out and lose it in the lake. This is going to be a shelf piece for me because this is the first brushless helicopter I've ever owned. All right, guys, I think it's getting pretty repetitive here. I'm enjoying myself, but in terms of if you're checking this out to see if you want to buy this helicopter, you probably have seen enough to make your decision. And I feel like, you know, you'd be silly not to buy it if you're looking for one, because you're gonna have a hard time finding one that has this speed and is brushless and looks this cool and flies this great for you know, a better price. Let's bring it over here. I'm gonna try to land it on the ground just to be safe. Let's just do an auto landing and start landing it. All right, perfect. Like I said, we had not reached low voltage yet, but this is a fun little flyer. Excellent choice. So big thanks to RTR Hobby for being kind enough to send this heli out for review. If you like this kind of stuff, be sure to stay tuned to the channel. I do a lot of RC reviews, cars, RC cars, drones, of course, boats, helicopters, and I also do some occasional tech stuff or stuff with real cars as well. So if you're interested in all that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell, that way you're notified when I upload new videos. And as always, guys, Have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.